Pokémon TCG Pocket is a massive, massive success. What does that mean and just how successful is the game? We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's video. But let's start with the news, which IGN is reporting via Pocket Gamer Biz, stating that Pokemon TCG Pocket is estimated to have made $120 million in 3 weeks. And while those numbers are just estimations, the evidence is also really clear. Right now, Pokemon TCG Pocket is number 2 on the US App Store, which, given the offerings right now on mobile, is pretty incredible. And overall, according to some rankings for total apps, not just games, it's 7th behind ChatGPT and ahead of apps like Google and TikTok. So the game is getting a big install base, which is excellent, and it seems like people are spending money. I'm a little surprised, I guess, because I think the game is actually very generous in terms of what you get for starting off, especially if you take advantage of the free week of premium. Like, for comparison's sake, I haven't spent anything in the game, and I've got over 200 of the cards out of, I think, 223, and I've got a super viable Meta Charizard deck and other decks as well. I don't have everything, unlike my son, who pulled 2 Pikachu EXs in one hand and a full art Charizard, but I've certainly got enough that I'm happy just opening my free packs until the next drop, or if something comes out that I really want to try to get. And that's probably true of a lot of people, but you also have to consider gacha games make a ton of their money off the whales and the krakens. The top 0.1% of spenders are bringing in a lot of money for the company, and they'll cater to them. And Pokemon TCG Pocket is actually really well set out for that, because the average person will get, 1 or 2 copies of the cards they want and be satisfied. The whales are going to want not just the card, but every single variation, including the very rare ones. Pokemon also has the benefit of being such a massively popular property overall that this will be a lot of people's first introduction to not just gacha games, but also strategic card games. And there are some interesting implications to TCG Pocket's early success. Just so we can understand scale, as a comparison point, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold about 25 million units. You can imagine what the profit might be there, but TCG Pocket is only 3 weeks in. We're just getting our whales and our krakens established, and it's allegedly earned 120 million. That's not as much as the 25 million units, but it's a good first data point. And the game I instantly think of is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's sort of a different style of collectible game. It's more of an RPG. There aren't really the same gacha mechanics, but it's been one of Star Wars' most successful products, and because of that, nearly 10 years later, it's getting more regular updates than ever. So the early success for a very popular brand and franchise means we're probably going to see TCG Pocket supported for a very, very long time. There are other benefits as well. I would not be surprised if the game is having an impact on sale of the physical cards as well. I've never been interested in collecting Pokemon cards outside of, the first 12 years of my life, as is true with every kid, but I've definitely been more interested in the card game now than ever before. And the distinction in rules and gameplay style is smart because it scratches an itch which isn't simply a replacement for the full physical game, although I do wonder whether we might get more complex game modes at some point. But the obvious benefit, aside from just distinction, is that Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket has far less in terms of impediments and expenses compared to a physical card game. You gotta pay for servers, you gotta pay for the art to get the cards if they don't already exist, but you don't have to pay for printing. You don't have to worry about shipping. And maybe most of all, there's no, or at least no serious, secondary resale market for digital cards. These aren't NFTs, and aside from selling accounts, which is surely banned under the TOS and will be a pretty small market, once these cards are pulled by a user, they exist for that user. You can't sell someone your EX Charizard in TCG Pocket like you can with a real card. So yeah, the Nintendo company, Pokemon, and especially DNA, the developer, they've got a real goldmine on their hands. To me, this definitely won't have the same sort of mass appeal as something like Pokemon Go, because it's just going to be a more niche product. It's a card game. You don't see people out walking around, but it could very well have the same sort of longevity, if not more, alongside the earning potential as well, which feels crazy to say, but I don't know. There's something really fun about getting into a mobile game right at the start of its life, and if you're playing Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket right now, well, you're in for a fun time, I think. As always, be smart with how you spend, but I also feel good about the fact that the game is obviously incredibly successful, even without being the worst of the gacha games. We're not infested with ads. Again, I think they're pretty generous with the amount of cards you get to draw. What I really personally want to see is just more events, more gameplay. They really need to get that release and development cadence going to keep the content fresh and to keep people interested. I will admit, I'm a little disappointed, however, given this game's massive success, that they haven't rewarded players or even recognized it yet. Like, I've played other gacha games, I've played Dock and Battle. Anytime they hit #1 on the App Store, they're throwing you a ton of things, login rewards, social media campaign rewards. I would really like to see more of that, which would not only be fun because you get more stuff to do, but also because I think the developers interacting with the community helps keep things vibrant.
Hey guys, this is Zach. I just wanted to close out the video with a quick pack opening and to talk a little bit about where that money may actually be coming from for Pokemon TCG Pocket. While the game is really well designed for making free players feel like they're getting the most out of the game without spending any money, I feel like a lot of people will probably forget to cancel the 2-week premium trial. I say probably because I definitely forgot to cancel it before the 2 weeks were up. While I don't hate the idea of having a premium membership, I do think it should follow more of a battle pass structure. A lot of people have already collected the rewards that the premium pass had given to them for the 2 weeks. And if I remember correctly, it only took me about 4 or 5 days to complete each of the premium missions. While I like the state the game is in right now, I think one of the big benefits that will get people spending a lot more is if they had more to do for the premium membership. For example, I feel like we should get more than one additional pack to open up each day, but that's just me. It also feels like the premium rewards in the shop are a bit lacking. 41 days to collect all of the Mewtwo related accessories is a bit too much unless they were planning on adding even more to it. Those are all just my thoughts though. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe for even more Pokemon TCG Pocket coverage.